Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys Storyline with Nick Eatman.
Good morning, good evening, whatever day it is. I don't know. It is Monday, October 28th. It feels like the evening, but I know it is the morning. Monday morning, Cowboys lose to the 49ers on Sunday night, 30-24, on a game that was closer than that, not as close as that. Kind of hard to figure that one out. I mean, they obviously lost. That's all that really matters right now. But the type of game that it was kind of a strange one, with the Cowboys being in control and then they're not. But once again, they can't figure out a way to start fast coming out of the locker room, whether it be the first or third quarter. I know I've been harping on that stat, but I can't change it. And until they change it, then it's going to continue to be a problem. But the Cowboys they opened the third quarter and it was the worst quarter you could have. And it starts with Brandon Aubrey with a kick to the 22-yard line. Like, what's going on with that? Like he's got the strongest leg ever, but he tries to dribble the kick and gets it out of the landing zone. That puts him at the 40, and then the 49ers just proceed to just have the most dominant quarter you could have, and basically that was the difference in the game. The Cowboys tried to recover, but never really could. They lose 30-24. They dropped to 3-4 on the season, and just a lot of questions that we've got to get to about this team. So I'll let you guys get to them with the phone calls, 888-855-2297, the number to call. Let's start it with Dylan in Northport, Florida. Dylan.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just wanted to shout out Sergeant Sue, my favorite wrestler. Dude's hysterical. I'm in a group chat with him and some other people, Rob and Irene and Travis. And, man, they keep me from jumping off a ledge during these games sometimes, I tell you, especially Sergeant Sue. Good dude.
Sergeant Sue. Oh, yeah. I forgot we changed his name. I thought I heard Sergeant Slaughter. I was like, what? What's going on here? Okay, I got it. Are you singing today, Dylan, or probably not?
No. I need some Miller Lite, like I said before I do that. So no songs from me. Maybe when I come down to Oxnard next year, maybe I'll give you a little song or something in person. Who knows? But I want to talk about Dak. I'm sure you probably get a lot of conversations about Dak today. Now, he didn't just fall off of a cliff and become bad overnight. And I think the final drive of the night for the Cowboys was kind of a microcosm of the passing game and Dak for the season. First down, throws a head scratcher into three defenders. That's bad, Dak. Second down, he has the edge. He could have taken off and run and picked up some yards. I don't know what you think.
That's the play.
Was it a panic throw to Ferguson? I mean, what was
maybe. That? I don't know, but it wasn't a run for 6 yards like it should have been.
It's like he gets to the line of scrimmage and panic.
That's probably the play, the biggest play of that series there. He didn't get anything on second down. And he's got to do that. He's got to make it manageable. That's what the 49ers do. When it's second and 15 because of a penalty, they get it back to manageable situations again. And I don't know why the Cowboys don't do that, or Dak didn't do that, but it was terrible.
He averaged about, what was it? I had it written down here. He averaged almost 4 carries a game last year, and that includes quarterback sneaks and stuff. This year he's averaging 1.5 carries a game. Like, it's bad, and that's basically just QB sneaks. So he hasn't run the ball at all this season for whatever reason. But then you get the next play, and it's like brilliant Dak shows up, and it was the perfect ball. Like, the absolute most perfect ball you could possibly throw. Turpin catches that ball. I think they got a good chance of winning the game at that point. Yeah. And then fourth down, obviously, you go to Jalen Brooks with the game on the line. So that kind of speaks to, Dak's unwillingness to run the ball for whatever reason. It speaks to the lack of weapons you have. Turpin's a nice threat, but he's not a consistent guy. When the game is in the line, he doesn't have the hands. He's shown a couple times now. He can't corral those kind of balls in consistently. And so, like I said, it's kind of a microcosm of this passing game right in 4 plays right there. And that was the most disappointing part of the game, when defense gives you a chance to go win it and your superstars don't show up.
They don't show up on that drive. I mean, you're saying that they don't show up. They got them back in the game as well. So they did get back in it, and give CD credit for that, and Dak, they fought for that. It was very much like the Ravens game for me all over again, because it was like you're getting blown out, but then you come back, and now you need to stop, and then they're like, okay, that's enough of that. So,
we've seen it time and time again. It's like, and it's not like defense is playing prevent; they're playing a little.
Yeah,
it's not prevent defense.
It's
so
not
they're still
prevent.
playing.
It's not prevent, but it's different too. It's but it's okay. They still made the plays, but I think the offensive line though is still a major problem, and I am not just excusing Dak. Dak is not playing well at all. He's pressing. He's not running. He's running for his life, and he's not running. That's kind of a problem, because most quarterbacks running for their life, at least they run and go get yards. He's not even doing that. So he's running for his life and then just throwing it away, like you said, on second down. But I think we cannot forget to talk about the offensive line. They are not the same, and it's not just the two rookies; it's all of them. So. It's just not a good combination right now of the O-line playing no running game at all, and Dak is forced to do everything, and he's pressing, and he's not making the right plays.
Yeah, and a running quarterback's a great equalizer, right? You saw Purdy do it a bunch of times last night. When everything breaks down, you got a lane, take it, pick up 5 yards, live to die another day. So That's all I got, man. Right, I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Dylan. Yeah, I mean, like, there was a broken play that he unbroke. I mean, Purdy. I mean, he turned to his left or right and tried to hand it off, and there was no one there, and he was like, "Oh crap!" And he kind of cut up the middle and got 16 yards. He's not a runner, but he rushed for 56 yards in the game, and so did the Cowboys. That's a problem. Okay, this isn't Lamar Jackson. So that's a multiple problem there. That Purdy's getting loose, and he's got just as many rushing yards as you've got here with Dalvin Cook. And hey, I wanted to see it just like all of you guys did. Just let me see for myself. And we saw 6 carries, 12 yards, and 1 catch for 10 yards. I'd like to see it again. I'll try again, and maybe with another game. But that didn't look like a huge answer either. But all right, let's go to Jared in San Jose. Jared, are you there?
Hey, Nick.
How you doing, Jared?
Doing all right. A little upset.
Little?
Being from 49er territory.
Yeah.
So I live in San Jose, which is 10 minutes from the Levi's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one was really hurtful because, the Niner fans, they had just lost their personal Super Bowl last week to the Chiefs. They really wanted that one.
Yeah.
And, they made the get right with us.
Right.
And, the Cowboys were coming off a bye. They had 2 weeks to figure it out, how to beat their nemesis.
Yeah.
And we got the Niners at their weakest point, dealing with injuries, dealing with a lot of other stuff. Yet, we still found a new way to lose to them.
Well.
And to me, it's like, if we couldn't beat them now.
No, I'm not going to let you. Well, you know what? You finish that sentence because it's your show. You say what you want. If you're not going to beat them now, what? Say it.
Yeah, so to me, it's like, this isn't a rivalry. They own us.
All right.
And no Diddy, but they are our daddy. So I'm going to hang up and listen now.
Okay. So all I ever say is let's just be fair when you're making assessments of things. Be fair. Be fair to both sides. I don't want to hear anything. I mean, the 49ers don't want to hear anything about their injuries because they're fine. They have. I wouldn't call that their weakest point at all. Because McCaffrey is a special player, but McCaffrey wasn't doing that in Carolina. Okay, the running game here, you get a really good player in a scheme like that. He's going to be dynamic. But I mean, can you even pronounce this guy's name? Garindo? I mean, he's fine. Or Jordan Mason, whoever they put in there. I mean, it's their running game. So I don't think they were as down as you think. I mean, but don't sit here and talk about them being down and think, oh, and the Cowboys still couldn't win. I mean, why do you think that is? Do you think that they really want to rush Carl Lawson off the edge and Tyrus Wheat? Do you really think that's what the Cowboys want to do? So if you're going to talk about anybody's injuries, then talk about both sides, and don't sit here and say all rivalry's dead and all that daddy stuff. That's ridiculous. So if that was his first call, fine. All right, let's go to who we got next, Chris. Gabe in Knoxville.
Hey, Nick.
Gabe, what's up?
Oh, just another loss to the Niners.
What's up?
Just another loss to the Niners.
I heard you. What's going? What do you got?
So my biggest point, I'll keep it quick, is why are we still? We get the chance to kick off a return, and we're still taking the ball, going 3 and out. We had some momentum. I mean, we weren't, beating them very badly, but we were ahead. And then, the middle 15 minutes of the game, what happens? They score some points. We can't get more points on the board. Goes to halftime. They come back, get the ball. They go score some more points. We throw an intercept. It's just the momentum completely changed in the middle of the half. I just feel like McCarthy, your defense is going to come out trying to have a better game after that embarrassment with the Lions. Why not just kick off? I don't understand. I think we're max 7 wins this year, maybe 7 and 10, but I think it might be 6 and 11. That's my point. Thanks, Nick. Have a good day.
All right.
Bye.
All right. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to really say what this team is right now. I think that they're gonna. I don't know about 6 wins, 7 wins, because you'd like to think they're gonna get some guys back at some point, but it's a tough league. I mean, you're going to lose other players too. So, can you withstand some of that? The whole McCarthy taking the ball, I think it has to be pointed out, that stat I was just saying. If you want him to what do you guys want? You want him to defer? I like that too. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's better if they defer, but they're not doing anything in the third quarter with the ball. So they're not coming out of the third quarter and doing anything, whether they get the ball after a score or the kickoff or whatever. They have not shown the ability to start a half and score a touchdown. They have not done that all year. And they're giving up points, whether, on the first drive of the game every single time. So whether they defer to start the game or it's not working. So, I mean, just remember that part too, okay? Again, I'm with you. I think I would go in the third quarter and get the ball there. But I think as it stands right now, I mean, it doesn't really matter either way. All right, Rob in Vegas.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Rob.
So, to me, the 2 factors of them losing that game is, I'll start, obviously, the quarterback. What I saw was a young quarterback in San Francisco who is willing to do what it takes to win the game. He's hungry, maybe because he's looking to get paid, but he played great. He threw the ball great. He protected the ball, and the running killed us. And then you look at Dak, and Dak looks comfortable in life. Everybody's saying, well, what happened to Dak? Well, I think what happened with Dak is his life's good. He's richer than rich. He's got a fiancée. He's got a daughter. You're not as reckless when you're comfortable as when you're young, and, it's just natural. And you can't change that. I just think, let's face it, you were probably more reckless in your 20s than you are now when you have a wife, kids at home, you go to bed at 11 o'clock. And, sometimes I want my players to be a little reckless. The best players that ever played, were kind of reckless in their personal life. And Dak just looks comfortable, and that's hurting us. Swing it to the coaching. I called in last week. I said this is a coaching mismatch. McCarthy may be the worst clock management coach I've ever seen. The first half with 1:30, you're up by 4, not setting the world on fire, but you're winning by 4, which we didn't think.
Mm-hmm.
And he burst 20 seconds off the clock. And I'm saying to myself, first of all, the 49ers are going to get the ball to open the second half. This could be disaster. Luckily, defense bails them out. And then you get the ball. You use your timeouts. I was okay with it. Defense did what probably we were talking about it. I said, I think they'll do it. The defense stops them. They get you the ball back with about 3 minutes. Okay, you have no timeouts, but you understand that you have 4 downs to get 10 yards the rest of the game. You're going to win this game or lose this game. The playbook is wide open. You could run it. You could throw it. And they called it and played it. And I'm going to put it on the quarterback, too, because you don't know if he's checking out plays. I don't know. They played it like there was a minute left in the game. You didn't run the ball. You didn't get the ball to your best player. And I got to give CD credit. He played great. You know, we knocked him for being maybe soft. He wasn't that last night. He played hard. There was a play where kind of got rolled up, and he was going to go off, and he waved to them, I'm not coming off the field. You didn't get the ball in his hands one time. You're throwing to Jalen Brooks, who may not even should be on the field. And I'm sorry, Turpin is not the guy you try to squeeze that ball into. So I just think, yes, they're going to fix the coaching issues in a few months. We know that. I just don't think you could fix Dak. I don't know how you turn and make a guy say, hey, you need to do what it takes. You need to put your body at risk. This is the National Football League. This is what you have to do, especially what you said, Nick. You're under duress the whole game. If you're going to run positive. 2 yards is better than nothing. And they fought. Diggs, I give Diggs credit. You know, he maybe was listening to us. We called him out for not tackling. He was coming up on the run.
Oh, he's listening.
You know, he was right. Yeah, he was playing physical. I
thought he played well.
The difference was what we said. I didn't expect Purdy to outplay Dak that much, but Purdy, I got to tell you, he's better than I thought. This kid,
he's good.
This kid does what it takes, and unfortunately, our quarterback does not anymore.
You're right, Rob, about that. He did get out. Thanks for the call, as always. He did get outplayed by Purdy, and I'm looking at the stats here. But you know, you talk about comfortable. You know, I think if you gave Dak 223 rushing yards. Now, let's take 56 out of that because that's Purdy actually getting those 56 yards. But still, if that's 165, 170 yards rushing, you know, that's still more than 100 more than what the Cowboys got. So Purdy can play the game differently when he knows he can run the ball for 4, run the ball for 5. I mean, they averaged 6 yards a carry. One of them was a 39-yard reverse to Pearsall. But so I'm not just this is not me excusing Dak. What I'm saying is that it's two different schemes like you talked about, and you know this reminds me. This is kind of what Dak had early on in his career when he had Zeke and they were running the ball like that. He was a lot more comfortable, if you will. But that last drive. I mean, he did throw it to CD. Sort of on the first down, but he almost threw a pick to was it Warner right over the middle? Like he was throwing to CD, but there was about 4 other hands in between there would have never gotten to him. So they got lucky that it wasn't an interception, or I don't know. But then after that, the second down, I thought he should have run. Third down, I just don't like that deep ball to Turpin. That, as Dylan said earlier, that's not his game. He's not going to go make that play. That's not the type of receiver that I think he is. And then on fourth down, the throw to Brooks, you're just not going to get that call, you know. And so, you know, Brandon Cooks has missed on this team right now. I mean, they miss a guy like him that can make some plays as well, and they're going to have to, when he comes back, they're going to have to use him in a different way than they had been. But I certainly think he has been missed. Let's go to Travis in San Antonio.
Nick, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Again, I hate to say this, but it sounds like a broken record for me. I'm not really angry at like a couple of the callers have been angry. I'm just kind of disappointed, but it is what it is, right? Can't change it. The Dak thing, as far as Dak goes, like you guys have kind of been talking about it. I just think it's a multitude of things, right? It's a domino effect. The offensive line has not been nearly as good. Terrence Steele had a rough game. I think Guyton played a little bit better. Cooper Beebe may have been the best lineman you had last night. Zach Martin, I really thought he was going to bounce back, but he had a rough game. And you can sort of see that domino effect of the offensive line. Dak may not be trusting that offensive line right now. And then the play calling, if I'm being honest, like the play calling really hasn't helped him out. So there were some people that were saying that he looked kind of stiff, and I think it's more just he's been thinking, right? He's just like the tackle or anybody else. He's processing so much that he looks very robotic and almost stiff, like he's not moving as well as I thought he would move. And even to your guys' point about him running, it's almost he's almost thinking so much, Nick, of like, do I go? Do I not go? Do I go? Do I not? You just need to go, man. Like those decisions. I think that's part of it for me is like, I don't care. We don't really care what you do, right? But if you're going to go, you got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get on it. So that's one thing. And then I'll hit the point that you talked about Turpin. I answered this because there was a bunch of people saying he never should have thrown that ball, even though I answer like this. He made the throw to Turpin, right? But the way I would describe it is it's so Turpin dropped it. He should have caught it, right? Dak made the throw. However, the other way you can answer that is, to your point, Turpin should have never been in that spot via the coaching staff. Like, that's not the guy you need to have in that spot. And that kind of goes to the points we've been talking about for a while now about, like, using the personnel correctly in certain ways. I thought the defense, honestly, Nick, I know they give up 30. I had them giving up 31. I thought the defense played their asses off, if I'm being honest. Zimmer put it all out there. He put six-man lines, six-man D lines out there and tried to stop the run as much as he could. It basically just came down to, this is my all-in move in the first half, and I think we lost that game because we didn't do enough on offense in that first half. And eventually Shanahan is a good enough coach to go, oh, okay, I see what you guys are doing. You guys are going to put all these guys on the line, and you're going to leave Donovan Wilson on George Kittle.
Yeah.
Okay, watch this.
Yeah.
And I don't blame Zimmer because he had no other counter move, right? Once they figured that out, which they were going to figure out at some point,
yeah.
I mean, that was kind of the game. So,
yeah.
Like I said, I don't want to blame Dak. So,
well, I mean, he gets some.
Completely.
He gets some.
Yeah.
Sure. He definitely gets some, and he took it last night. But at the same time, I mean, it's not just on Dak, but that's where it starts, and that's where it always is going to start at the quarterback, especially at his position right now. He's pressing, and I mean, and that's the frustrating thing is that he needs help around him, and I understand where that gets frustrating for fans when he's paid like he's paid, because you see other quarterbacks and other players in the league, and they kind of lift the others around him, and he's having a hard time doing that right now with these guys. And I've said it again. I mean, I think Brandon Cooks, it would help him. And we saw that last year, and then hopefully they get him back. And this defense, I mean, there was just so many times where Purdy was standing there, and I'm just like, man, Micah Parsons, I mean, could really, really be useful right here. We're seeing the safeties; they're not the same. They're not the same without this pass rush. And Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, it's been a rough go for them this season, and last night was a good example of that. Let me take a break. I'm sorry, I know we got a caller on the line, but let me take a quick break here on Cowboy Storyline. We'll be right back.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
We got big personalities. We got big hair, big belt buckles. We got fans all across this big state and enemies in every other one. We even got a big star on the 50-yard line. Smirnoff knows football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks home or away, we rally together. We cry together, and we always rally cry together because, most of all, we got big love for them boys. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
This Wednesday, October 30th at the Star, check out Little Stars presented by Nuna. It's a free Halloween-themed event for the little guys aged 5 and under. Join us from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. for fun activities, silly games, lots of treat. This is the stardistrict.com for more information. All right, let's go back to the Cowboys and 49ers. 49ers get the win 30-24. Tough game for the Cowboys, especially in the third quarter. Just couldn't get anything to go their way, and it ended up being the difference in the game. All right, Derek in Springfield, Missouri. Derek.
What's going on, man?
How are you?
Not great. Probably about the same as you. Man, this just makes that Green Bay playoff loss hurt even more. I mean, I was pretty upset after that game. I know we all were, but it just really puts it into context, like how big of a missed opportunity that was last year. And I hate to bring that up, but that's just kind of the first thought that came into my head, you know. Man, it's crazy that sometimes you feel these coaches, they get paid what they get paid, and you're watching the game, and you're just like, what is that play call? Like the 3rd and 5, I think, maybe right before halftime, going out of shotgun, and I think he handed it to Cook. Do you know the play I'm talking about?
When he handed it to Cook?
Yeah, it was 3rd and 5, and it was in the first half.
Lipke.
I believe. Oh, was it Lipke?
I think the first drive of the game.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And I'm just like, dude, what is that play call? Like, are we serious with that? Like, oh. Yeah.
That looked like a play call where you're going to go for it on 4th down, even though, you know, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
but usually on a 3rd and 5 and you do a draw like that. But
go get 3 and then maybe go for it, yeah.
I mean, Lipke is still a fullback. Like, he's not. Right. I mean, he's a nice player that everyone kind of, you know, they like him, and I think he can be a versatile guy. But he's not going to be a lead runner ever. Mm-hmm. And so 3rd and 5. I mean, I don't know. I didn't love.
I mean, man, like I'm just saying, in that situation, like if you want to run the ball there, like put CD in the backfield, then I guess, and do some gimmick play. Like if you're, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they're too predictable, and it's just like, man, there was like 8 minutes left in the game. We're down 17, and he's like handing it off to Zeke on, you know, like I'm just watching that time tick off the clock, and I'm like, why are we running the ball? Like, give it up, dude. Like, I don't know. It's so frustrating, man. And I felt like Rico was a healthy scratch. I know they said he was sick, but I don't know. The politics with this franchise and like Jerry, I guess he doesn't want to hurt Zeke's feelings, but I mean, dude, the guy's washed. I mean, let's give it up. 2016 was a long time ago. I mean,
yeah. Well,
I don't know. I'm just frustrated.
Yeah,
I'm just
clearly.
rambling. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I know you're good, Derek.
I mean,
but
okay. You know.
No, I
well,
get it. I get it.
Have a good day.
You too.
Just like,
you too. That's the epitome of a Cowboys fan right there. You just don't even know what to say and just kind of like mad and kind of grasping at stuff. I'm not believing any of this conspiracy stuff about Rico Dowdle. Here's why. Because he was sick after, at some point he got sick yesterday and he was inactive in the game. They didn't need him to be inactive. Okay, they didn't need that spot. It's not like, they were afraid to tell Zeke he was inactive. They didn't have to do that because Dalvin Cook was from the practice squad, so he was elevated, and they only elevated one guy. So they were fine with all of their other needs. And so because Rico Dowdle did not play, they activated Deuce Vaughn, who I don't even know if he played. If he did, I didn't see him. But my point is that they could have done that. They could have done Rico, Zeke. They didn't have to do all that. So they didn't need to do that. So I'm not buying that. It's weird. I mean, you don't see that happen a lot, but I'm not buying that that's the case. All right, Sergeant Sue in Fort Worth. What's up?
Yes, sir. At ease, everybody. How you doing, Nick?
I'm good. You don't get a first-time caller. You just changed your name.
I was going to say first-time caller as Sergeant Sue, but it's okay. It's okay. I understand.
That's true.
This is a little bit unorthodox, but I actually wanted to ask a question on behalf of a storyliner who isn't able to call. His name is Sly from Montreal. And he basically wanted to know, is it time to bench Donovan Wilson? I know you touched on it a little bit earlier, but the safety play in general to me seems like we got two guys that can pretty much trade in and out. So or four guys basically, but two guys that are on the bench that I'd like to see a little bit more of. And of all the notes that I took during the game, I'm not sure if you do this, Nick, but I take a lot of notes during the game, and I get emotional. So usually after the emotions settle, I go back and I delete a lot of them. And the only note that I have left is, does Dono need to be Gano? And that's my question, brother. I hope you have a good day.
Cute. He's not playing well. He's not, and neither is Hooker. Again, I think what we're seeing is they were probably like, it's the same with Dak. They didn't just change football. They just changed how they play football. Sometimes you see the guys and the people around him, and then they're like, all right, well, they're not getting that same kind of help. It's different when you're the guy. You're the main guy. And you're not getting a lot of help like you were in the past. I mean, I think we're seeing Micah Parsons made a lot of people better, and so it'd be nice to have him back. They could have, if he misses one more game, I mean, they could have put him on IR, and I don't know if he'll be back for the Atlanta game. I haven't seen him out doing the chords work like you would expect, maybe like a 1 week before you come back. So I don't know. They certainly need him, but yeah, I mean they did not put him on IR thinking that it would be less than 4 games, and so this would be 4 games with a bye week in there as well. But to answer your question about Donovan Wilson and the guys Wanye Thomas, Marquise Bell, they got some penalties. They make some mistakes as well, like when they get opportunities on special teams. But they would probably give you a little bit more athleticism. So I think I'd be fine with that at this point. You gotta do something. All right, Erwin in Denver.
Good morning, Nick. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Man, I feel for you on one hand, Nick. I know that on Mondays, as of late, things just haven't been going really good for the Cowboys, and you have a great job. And on the other hand, you get the calls like, every Monday, calls like from myself and other callers. It's kind of discouraging and stuff. But
Well, I signed up for it. Erwin, thanks for saying that. But I signed up for this, and I always say it's just y'all's show too, and I don't expect y'all to come in and be happy about it. I get the frustration, and I try to handle it the best way, and I think you guys are doing a great job as well. And it's a kind of a give and take a little bit. I thank you for saying that, and I know it's tough, especially the morning like this when, I'm working on 2 hours maybe of sleep, and Chris Beam's back there with less than that.
Right?
Because you still got to take the kids to school. Like that doesn't change. So
That's right.
7:00 came quick, especially when it was 5:30 when I went to bed. But I appreciate you saying that, and I know that's not your point. So go ahead with your question. But thanks for saying that. But again, this is part of it. As Jason Garrett would say, it comes with the dinner, and that's what happens. It comes with the dinner.
Right.
What's up, Aaron?
Yeah, you're correct. Listen, Nick, I've been a Cowboy fan for a very, very long time. And when I was younger, I used to get upset when the Cowboys would lose. And, I'm not like that anymore. I still want them to win. Of course, I watch them every week. But just watching them over the years, they're just a bad team. And I think, they have really good players. But for the most part, they're just a bad team this year, and they have been for a little while now. And it's just reflected for the last 27 years. I know there's been some years in between there where they had a chance, but for whatever reasons, it didn't work out. But I don't know what it is.
Are you saying? Time out, Urban. I'm gonna have. This is where I'm gonna get cranky here and challenge you.
Okay.
But so a bad football team. For the last 27 years, why 27? What's been the difference in 27? Why not 30? You're not rounding to 30 for a reason. So why 27? Because they haven't won the Super Bowl? I just don't think. How is that a bad team? Are you a bad team because you haven't won the Super Bowl?
No, you're right about that because they had some good teams in between there where they were really close to getting in there. You're right. Maybe I misspoke a little bit, and. The thing about it is I don't know. You were 100% correct earlier in the show. I was listening to you. Something is wrong with our offensive line. I don't know if it's just we got young players. We got Steele. Oh, my God, Steele. He has regressed. He's going to get Dak Prescott killed. And is it a combination of some of the young players, our coaching? What's wrong with our offensive line coach? What is he not doing? What needs to be done? Because we can't run the ball. If you can't run the ball or stop the run, and we all know this, the Cowboys have been great over the years with running backs and being able to run the ball. We just haven't been able to do that, and it's a disaster for us every week. Like I said, I don't. Or it's just a little bit frustrating, but I'll always be a Cowboy fan. I'll always. But one more thing before I let you go, Nick.
Go ahead.
My kids, I raised them to be Cowboy fans. They're diehard, and it's gotten to the point for them. We used to get together, big family get-togethers, big spreads, watch the game, be exciting. We don't do that anymore because they're just so discouraged on what's been happening lately that, hopefully next year, next couple of years, we can start doing that again because I sure miss that.
Yeah. Blaming the Cowboys. You blame the Cowboys on the kids don't want to watch the game. Hey,
they want it.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, they want to watch the games. It's just that they hate watching them lose all the time.
I get it. All right. Well, thanks for the call, and I just it's not my job to try to. I'm not trying to change anyone's opinion or whatever because everyone's opinion is it is what it is. I say that all the time. You've heard me say that, but I just think it's very short-sighted to just say, I'm not one that's like, this is a bad team, a bad franchise, whatever, because they haven't won the Super Bowl. I mean, that should not be the expectation. It's the expectation to be a good enough team to compete for it. But as far as, to win the Super Bowl and not win the Super Bowl, nobody – when they're counting stops at 28, 29. No one does that. You just round to 30. But rounding to 30 doesn't fit the narrative, and I understand that. I have to take our last break here on Cowboy Storyline. When we come right back, I'll answer we'll get a couple more calls here.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit AltecLansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's AltecLansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, back here on Cowboys Storyline. Make sure and stay connected with the Dallas Cowboys on your connected TV. Catch up on all the Cowboys content, such as player interviews, weekly shows, podcasts, docuseries, much more. Download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. All right, let's get going here. A few more calls here, maybe a couple of calls before we finish the show. Gavin in Oklahoma City is next. Gavin, what's up?
Hey, Nick, has it been a tough show, man?
Yeah.
I don't get to listen live.
All right. It's all right. Be all right. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, you guys have opinion. You're frustrated. That was a frustrating game to watch. I mean, it's like the Ravens, like I said. I mean, was it a good game? Was it close? Was it not? I mean, like it seemed like a blowout at one point, but then it was close and they had a chance to win, and then you don't. And I don't know. It probably should have been a 13-point game. You know, if the guy doesn't slide at the one. So
right. I'm disappointed as anybody, man. Obviously, you know, anybody calling the show probably bleeds blue. This is getting deep into Cowboys fandom right here.
Yeah.
I drive all the way to Texas to watch the night games with my family and take off work the next day and everything. The Cowboys is a big deal for me, but I only have one question for you. I'm going to stick to the offense because I feel like defenses have so many injuries, not excusing their play or nothing like that, but I feel like the offense had plenty of opportunities to get going and they just didn't. Do you think that me personally watching the game, I just think the play calling has been bad, and I've been a big critic of the play calling, but it's kind of hard for the play caller to make the plays better with our tackle play. The tackle play has been terrible, to say the least, and I know we have a rookie in there. I know we got Steele on the big contract, but do you think there's any possible way that the Cowboys could shake up the tackle room, move some parts around, anything? Because when I see us go against a good defensive end, and the league is full of them. Almost every team has a good pass rusher. It's like, let's pick on Steele, and if we can't pick on Steele, let's pick on Guyton, and it's just, man, it's a mess. But that's all I got for you, man. Appreciate the call.
All right, thanks for the call. You know, there was times where, you know, Steele, he gave up some plays to Bosa that are just like too easy. Like the sack he had, I mean, that was just absolutely too easy. And, you know, and it's real easy to say, well, put a tight end on him. But, I mean, then you do that a few times, and it's like, well, why isn't Ferguson playing well this year? Well, because he's having to chip. You know, he's having to make these plays. So you can't do everything. And so, you know, there's times where they have to go out and block. And I thought he got better as the game went on, but yeah, you know, you do see those, and that's the thing about a right tackle. Like you can have a really good game, and you make 3 bad plays. Everyone remembers those, you know, and these happen. That's happening with Steele. Like it does happen a little bit now. I think he played better as the game went on, but again, like it's those times where he's missing blocks and Dak's running for his life. I mean, that's just happened too often, you know. And don't forget, Steele was another guy that they paid, that, you know, and the guys that they've paid and given extensions to haven't played well afterwards. If you go back the last 2 or 3 seasons, that's just the facts. You know, I mean, Trayvon hasn't played better. Now he did get hurt, so that's not his fault. But I mean, he hasn't played better after he got a deal. Donovan Wilson and Steele and Hooker, all those guys got contracts. Dak now this year hasn't played better. CD about the same, you know, but it hasn't been like leaps and bounds better. So, all right, let's go. We got a couple calls real quick. We got to get to Bob in Rio Grande Valley.
Morning, Nick.
How you doing?
Like every one of the other fans that's called in. One thing, the bright spot that I saw last night was the absence of flags. It seems like the coaching staff spent quite a bit of that 2 weeks getting the guys. We didn't have the false starts. We didn't have the offsides. We didn't have the holdings. That was a bright spot. But I tell you what, Steele has definitely regressed, no doubt about it. And Dak has too. And where Dak has regressed is in his decision-making. I mean, what in the world was he thinking on those 2 passes? And there was almost a third where he threw it into a covey of players. Wasn't a blue jersey anywhere around.
Yeah.
Man, can you please tell me what's going on? Thanks for taking my call. Have a good day.
You know, I said it earlier in the show. I think he's pressing. I think the offensive line is struggling to keep him, you know, upright, and he is running for his life, but he's not running. And I've said that a couple times already. He's not taking advantage of what you would do there. I don't know why he doesn't want to run the ball, but he needs to, because that's the play that's open there when you're getting all that protection. All right, so that was our last caller. I thought we had one more, but so that's, you know, I don't know about regress. I don't think in your 9th year you just, you know, or 10th year, you don't regress to that point. But I think, you know, it's very clear that he still needs some help here. And, you know, I think they were short-sighted with the running game this year. I think it's fair to say that. They didn't think that they needed to address it better than they did, and it's not just running backs. You know, it's not just the back. I think it's just the overall scheme there. But they're not running the ball well, and that doesn't help Dak at all. And then, you know, the receivers, they went for Cooks and Tolbert and Jalen Brooks, and along with CD. And they haven't been able to really gel and find that other playmaker just yet on a consistent basis. So, you know, there's a lot of things. But I always go back to if you don't run the ball. If you can't run the ball, you're not going to be a very good team. And you don't have to run it all the time, because it is kind of more of a passing league. But you need to run it when everyone knows you're going to run the football. You got to go run it. And they can't do that at all. They're the worst rushing team in the league right now. So, you know, I don't know if the Cowboys are going to try to make a move to do something about that, but I don't know if it's just the running back. Again, it's the scheme up front, it's blocking, and those guys aren't moving anyone off the ball. So that's a problem. All right, you guys were good today. I appreciate it. We had 10 calls, and you could hear the frustration, and I'm proud of that, because that's what this show is. You know, it's based off emotion. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. I appreciate the guys that called in. I know we had some text messages on the text line. We couldn't get to all those. They were a little long and wordy. We'll get to those. Shorten those up a little bit. We like to get the calls on this show more than anything, but they appreciate all the support. I know there's people calling in that didn't get in. But anyways, thanks for the support for the show today. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do this tomorrow, and we'll talk it through and get you guys ready to start shifting the focus over to the Falcons next week. Another road game, this time in Atlanta. All right, for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline. See ya.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?